Welcome to the Transcend podcast. This is a show where we motivate, inspire, and learn to work with all your heart. My name is Matthew Arnold. Today I'm joined with co-owner of Transcend Fitness and Recovery, Caitlyn Jablonowski.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just now learning your name. But before we get started, guys, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for more content. Caitlyn, I have been working on that intro, by the way.
Yeah, it was good.
I've been working on it. I really do apologize. Guys, I'm learning her last name. I've known her for so long, and I've never pronounced it. I just said Caitlyn J. I say Renee J, your mother. So,
Jabo.
Yeah, hey, I know that part because that's the name of y'all's building.
Yeah.
Business, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Anyways,
okay.
how are you doing today, Caitlyn?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Are you caffeinated?
Halfway.
Halfway.
Yeah, I'm
What are you
delayed
drinking
today. Arbonne Fizz packets.
I don't think I've ever had those. How
it's
much
all
caffeine?
natural.
Oh, okay. Not I. I am drinking a Ghost right now.
I've never had one.
They're compared to a lot of the other energy drinks that I've drank, they have like you can like taste like the glucose aftertaste in a sense. I don't like it, but I like this flavor a lot.
Okay.
This sour green apple gets me going for sure. Yeah,
Okay,
I really appreciate that flavor. So
Okay.
yeah. All right, I do have a question for you to get us kind of like started off here a little bit. So growing up, and it's not on your notes, so I'm so sorry for this. This is a whole different one.
All right.
I'm using a different section.
Okay.
So
Surprise.
growing
It's like, let me catch you off guard.
Yeah, right. Growing up, what are some classic bangers? Like forgotten bangers.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Bangers like
music bangers. Yes. What would you say? And whatever you say, I'm gonna play it. So
okay, well, the big one I can think of right off the bat was like Brick House, man. You know what I mean? Like Brick House.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think you were gonna bring that up. You said Brick House?
Yeah. Hey, like
so
my
funny.
family loved music. My dad played the saxophone.
Damn, like you went classic. Like you went old school on me. I was not expecting that, to be honest.
You didn't know that we love music in our house. We're groovy.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about, all right. Well, that means that your parents played things
All the
from
time.
their generation for you.
All the time.
Like I'm going to be honest. My parents didn't we really just had Christian music playing all the time.
No way.
Yeah. Like I didn't really dive into like 80s rock, 80s like soul, any of that until I became like 25.
What?
Yeah. So I'm like super behind. So this is it right here, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't know. Let's see what you got.
Oh, this is a different song. No, this is it, right?
This is it. Because they're going to whistle.
Yeah.
Ready for the whistle. He's going to hit it.
Hey. I'm going to be honest. I've never fully listened to this song.
No way. I used it one time when I filmed like a cooking video with my new grill, and I had the fire like going up in the smokes on the grill, and I was like, I videoed it, zoomed in on the fire, and I was like, she's a brick house. I'm gonna cook that me.
Well, I will say YouTube might flag us for playing the full song, so
that's
all I'm gonna play so far.
Listen.
Well, all right. What about something in our generation? What's something that's like
NSYNC.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I wasn't a Backstreet fan, and I was definitely NSYNC. You know,
So
you got
that
the
was
bye
me
bye
too.
bye.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was me.
So my first CD and CD player was NSYNC, actually.
Yo,
Yeah.
what? I think mine was too low key.
I remember my cousin, she was like playing it in her ears, and like she was using my CD player and she drops it. And I'm just like, yo, like, how are you gonna like not take care of my CD player?
You're like, the CD's not gonna spin. It's not gonna spin.
Yeah, and it's gonna skip, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna skip.
I know
Dang.
what you meant.
We're
Because
showing
I had
our
the
age.
Lilo and Stitch soundtrack too. Did you know that? And I would love the Lilo and Stitch soundtrack. I also love Shakira.
Yeah.
For some reason, Hips Don't Lie was like my jam. It was my ringtone.
Man, so I definitely listen to a lot of NSYNC, so I could definitely relate to that one. So this one here, I don't think a lot of people know that I'm gonna play. It's called "Summer Nights" by Lil Rob.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest, man. Not a lot of people know this song, but this is my shit. Like I swear it is. Like,
Well, I don't know names well.
there's a remastered version. Oh,
Don't trust it. Don't trust it.
I did not prepare.
People ruin the good.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like a cholo, by the way, like a straight up Mexican. That might be offensive to some people, but
no. Hey, we had like On the Block, that TV show that we all loved on Netflix.
Hey, but it's like if you ever just listen to the song and didn't look at the music video, you would never know that he looked like this though.
Honestly, I wouldn't.
Just sitting around, but when the sun goes down, bro, I'm for real. This is one of my shits for real.
I feel like I've heard it. Like it sounds familiar, you know. It's not something I know the lyrics to, but you know, I'm there.
You were giving me some crap about talking about age, but I swear, like music-wise, like 2 years, a year and a half is a huge like gap. Like if you didn't listen to something and you missed it, like nowadays it's more like predominant. Is that the word? Like where it's like more common that like if you didn't listen to something in 2016 and you just missed it by 2017, unless it's a banger, you probably missed that song.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But you know what's really sad is people don't even know who Michael Jackson is.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's like a classic. That's a legend, you know?
And people in our generation think Michael Jackson was like a creep.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you never know.
Yeah, but I'm just going to leave it as like his music. I love his music. I'm just going to leave it there.
The music is amazing. Yeah. Like if you separate, you're separating the music from the man, right? Yeah. Because like you're thinking artistry, and I'm over here like that's your personal life, but here's your career. That's what you're making your money off. I'm going to go off of your career. Yeah. And the music is fire.
Well, you know, we can dive into that a little bit too, because that's how I feel about Chris Brown. Like, yeah. He beat Rihanna. I'm sorry. Watch his documentary. She beat him too. It
is usually mutual. It is like, you know, the statistics
I don't agree with it. Like you're still a man. Like you're probably stronger than a woman.
This is true. This is true.
We low-key had that conversation.
We talked about it. I said I would never like come at you like that because you can't slap me. And that's not fair.
Yeah.
Like it's just not fair. I'm gonna be real. This might be a sensitive subject, but you know, we can move on after this, but it isn't fair.
No, I'll piggyback off of it. There was this video, and it's not domestic violence, but there was this video where this guy's out at dinner with a bunch of like his wife and all of her friends. Yeah. And he says, I'll get the birthday girl and my wife. And then her friends were like, I forgot her name, but we'll just say Danny was her name, right? Yeah. And they were like, Danny, you gonna let him do that? You're not gonna get him to pay for our meals? And she defended him. She was like, once y'all get a husband, you'll understand. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Shout out to her. But them other females really thought that they can get like a free dinner.
Yeah, that's weird though. Yeah. Because like I'm inviting you, is it my birthday dinner?
It was someone else's birthday. And so that husband said the only dude there was like, I'll get the birthday girl. And I'll get I'll get my wife.
That was gracious. He didn't even have to do that.
But the other females, they expected him to pay. No, that's crazy.
No,
that's crazy.
This isn't like like Charlie's Angels over here. Like I don't know, is he supposed to take care of all of you? That's weird.
Yeah, but then it's like, all right, so I'm gonna make a statement that like is definitely tough for nowadays generation. But it's like sometimes women want traditional men. Yeah. But like, why can't men ask for traditional women? Yeah. But at that same time, it's like, we live in an economy where you do need dual income at times.
That's true.
So I don't expect my fiance to ever like have a sandwich ready when I get home. Yeah. Like I don't ever expect that. Like, but if I gotta die if a stranger walks into the house for you, then it's like, I don't think it's that bad to ask for a sandwich when I'm home, Like she's not gonna like this. Sorry, babe. I love you. But anyways, that could be a whole tangent there, I swear.
No, but you know what? Like, I think you're nailing it like on some part of it. So I'm not gonna like argue with you there on that. Like
some people will though, like just because I'm down to talk about this. Something that me and my fiance have talked about is growing up, women, and maybe we've had this chat before, but growing up, women have been taught to like be independent, which like it's good from like the 1920s, 1940s. Like women were stuck in the house, like they didn't have rights. And now it's like back then, it's like the man brought all the money in and the woman had to do whatever he said because he brought the bacon home, basically. Yeah. So now like a woman should be able to make her own money. And I believe in that. I think the follow-up is my problem, is when like our parents, that generation is teaching young girls today, and even our generation is teaching the new young women today that you don't need a man. That's the problem that I have. Like you can say be independent, you say go be self-sufficient, go get a job, make a career. But it's like when you follow it up by kind of like shitting on guys, like I think that's the problem, because as men, we're never taught you don't ever need a woman in your life. Yeah. We're taught to have a family, to protect your family. But why are women taught to you know, you don't need a man. Be independent, but you don't need a man.
Yeah.
Like that follow-up statement is what I don't like, but I get where they're coming from. I really do. Like I understand that like it's the part of being independent, you know, but I don't think that's necessary. That second part.
Yeah.
Like I really don't. So
yeah, my thought thing on it, and I'll apply it to myself, is like, yeah, I want to be a trophy wife. Like, who the heck wouldn't want to be a trophy wife? I would love to not work one day in the future. Like, but I love what I do. That doesn't say that I don't like what I get out of like my job and what I do now. That's completely separate. Like the dream, like I would love to be a trophy wife and not sit at home. Actually want to volunteer my time, like to be able to be flexible.
You don't want
and
to slave your hours away.
Yeah, but be able to like choose like to go serve people willingly and just get joy out of it, and like being able to go out in the community and do outreach and stuff like that, and just like have that like freedom to do that or to pour into people would be like a joy. But the thing is, I'm not going to expect that out of like a man or like a husband that I meet, because here's the thing is like, I'm going to come in as an individual that can provide for herself. So there goes the independent part, right? Can
I interject really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So everything you just mentioned is the things and traits of women that are nurturing.
Yeah.
Hear everything you just said, right? That's nurturing.
Yeah.
So like, I think sometimes it's like ingrained in us that we go out and hunt and find the food and bring it home. And the women are home taking care of the town, taking care of like basically everything you're kind of saying, you know what I mean? But like, I think the path that it's taken is like, stay home and take care of the kids. And it's like, yes, men need to word it differently for sure. But you just saw how I worded it. It's like, you're ingrained to nurture. You're ingrained to like take care of people, volunteer, take care of the community, you know? Whereas like, man, again, we live in the 21st century. I'm not saying that this should be the thing, but anyways.
But I think too, it's like, it's your delivery, right? Like, are you telling me that I'm not capable of like doing all of these things? Because that's where I come like with my independence. Like when I say like, I'll come like into a relationship or whatever it may be, like with like a front on with a man, like I'm going to come independent, and that just shows you like, hey, I'm capable, but then I choose to do the nurturing role out of like my love, which is an action, you know? And so it just says like, hey, don't delivery, right? Don't put me in a box, because then I'm gonna like snap, or I'm gonna like have to defend myself, or gonna want to do stuff differently because pride. But at the end of the day,
that kind of boils down to my main statement is like, I'm cool with the independency part. It's just the follow-up statement, like that we're teaching women like, you don't need a man. And now if you're not into that, whatever.
You have to go back to purpose. Like, what are we here for? What's our purpose? Like, are we here to do it alone? Like, what is that? What are you gonna gain with that? What are you gonna achieve? What are your goals? Like, and so much more.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. All right. So this is actually a good little segue into this next topic that I have for you, Caitlyn. So, you're 29 years old. I didn't get that wrong.
Age.
I wanted to know a little bit about your journey. We've been knowing each other for almost 2 years now, right? Yeah. So I wanted to know like your journey. You got your exercise science degree from UNT, and I just kind of want to hear like your journey to where you're at today, the last, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a really broad statement to ask, but
it's a journey, man. Oh my gosh. Real. Yeah. I would say like educational wise, or I think like moves, the goals, like the plan that I kind of went down was like, hey, you go to college, right? You get your degree, whatever, a bachelor's. And then it's always like, hey, what's next, right? Because you're never done growing. I always tell people, like, if you're comfortable, you're probably not doing it right. So you want to be a little bit uncomfortable. The growth is going to come from that. And then also you get into the field and you're like, hey, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how to do that. Like, oh, I want to know how to do that. Like, in just wanting to be well-versed, right? So you get in the field, started like shadowing chiropractic, like offices, like shadowing exercise physiologists. And then
while you were in school?
Okay, cool. Yeah, at UNT. And then went to like PT offices, started like shadowing like techs there.
How was that?
That was cool.
Yeah, sorry to veer you off for a second,
but
how was shadowing like PTs and techs?
I would say like PTs and techs. So it's like a different world, right? I think it depends on where you go. Because I believe in it. I really do. But you also have to really be like personal with your like patient or your client, right? So, you know, you hear a lot of like misconceptions or some frustrations like among people where they're like, I go to PT. These people just like sit there on their phone or with the sheet and rattle off exercises, and they don't really watch me, and they just let me sit there and go through them all. Yeah. And then, you know, I leave and that's it. Yeah. And so it's kind of like very non-personal sometimes, depending on where you go, right? Yeah. So you do witness that. Then you come across passionate people though that love what they do. And I've seen people where I'm like, wow, where in his brain did he even think to wrap the band around her body like that to get her mechanics like centered so that she could perform that movement efficiently? And like his brain was just like on fire with it. And I was like, I want to be that. Yeah, you know?
And that's the thing about PT, and I'm sorry to cut you off where you were at, but like I'm gonna just mention my issues with a physical therapist, and it's a never-ending cycle. So my issue with physical therapists is the physical therapist was a tech at some point, and their physical therapist made them do all the work, right? And all the tech work, and then they dump them off back to the physical therapist, and they just kind of check them off, send them home to do their workouts, their practice, right? Yeah. Now, most of these people who got hurt, either athletes or your common person, right? Yeah. There's two types of people. And the common person, let's just start with them. You give them a piece of paper, send them home. They don't have no routine to be consistent with this. So now they're spending all this money on physical therapy, not doing the home practice. And then they come back and there's no progress, right? Yeah. And back to the PTs and the tech. So the PT makes the tech do most of the work. And then when that tech becomes a PT, they become a PT with techs, and they just make them do all the work. Yeah. And that's a majority of the physical therapy clinics. Now, for those physical therapists out there who are passionate, this does not apply to you at all. Like, I'm just talking about
there's some boss people out there. We follow them on social media. Yeah, I mean, there's one like, I'm not going to name drop.
No, you can't.
Okay. Yeah. But like Squat University, I'm going to go back to him because he's a physical therapist, a doctor of physical therapy. And he's working with these people like face on. I don't see him passing them off to someone else. This is social media. I really don't know how he does stuff.
The thing about him is like, he's doing it like what you said. He's passionate about it. Like he's actually helping people, but he's just not doing the normal give you a piece of paper and dip kind of thing.
He's like assessing. You're a doctor. You are allowed at this point to assess that person, to diagnose whatever it may be. So like do your job. You know, like do the part. Okay.
So after you PT, like shadowings and rotations, what happened after that?
Yeah. So after that, then I was like, okay, I probably need to build my resume up a little bit more beyond the volunteering aspect. You know, it's good to have those hours in though. And I was actually looking at, ironically, becoming a doctor of physical therapy. Yeah. And it required so many outpatient hours of observation, so many inpatient hours of observation. And I was trying to apply to the college down in Dallas.
Non-paid too, right? Huh? Non-paid as well, like all those hours?
Yeah,
or do they pay you?
All non-paid to become a doctor of physical therapy. So I was working hard for it. That was my track. And that was actually my track in college was pre-professional health allied for PT. Yeah. So I was all for it. So anyways, going into that, I'm like, I got to get into the field. I got to build a resume or I'm not going to be able to like have like someone to trust me as far as like my repertoire and where I'm coming from here. Yeah, I've shadowed, but have I practiced what I'm learning? Yeah. You know? So I applied, I heard about Arasti through family, because we have doctors in our family and they were like, hey, have you heard of Arasti? They work with injuries. And I was like, wow. That's what I want to do. Like, I love injuries. I love muscles.
Oh, you've been working with the Rossi since college?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my first job out of college. Yeah. So I started there. Yeah. I graduated 22 when I was 22. Okay. Cause I went an extra year and then, got the job right out of that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Like at 23.
I know we're a little different on the routine here. I mean, on this like schedule, but like, can you explain what a Rossi is to people? Yeah, I think that'd be awesome for people to hear.
So it's an acronym. It stands for Applied Integration Rapid Recovery of Soft Tissue Injuries. And so, mouthful. And they treat injuries fast. So their average is like 2 to 3 visits per person.
And what kind of injuries, like for something to get fixed in 2 to 3?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, sessions, so they always say like, if it's not completely torn, broken or ruptured, that we can fix it. Okay. And so that's interesting. I know. But these people, like, so we go through extensive training. I mean, they fly you out to San Antonio. And for my position, it was 4 weeks of training where they put me in a hotel and I'm at the headquarters being trained 4 weeks every day, Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day. The doctors go through, I think, 6 to 8 weeks of training. So they're a little bit longer. And they're going through, I mean, relentless like training where you're like, hey, here's a case. Yeah. Like, what do you want to avoid? What do you want to treat? What would you look at? What are the contraindications? And they're going through and they're having to like list it all out. Yeah. Oh gosh. And go through like this whole process and break it all down. Yeah. You know? And so it's really cool about Rossi is they'll like diagnose and assess you like very fast. You know, they have these tests that they go through and they're very much like on a like test, treat, retest kind of like treatment kind of process. Yeah. And that's how they work so fast.
So if I come in, I'm gonna give you a scenario. If I come in with a strained piriformis, like what would you do with that?
Well, the doctor would assess you and he would say like, hey, how did this happen? Right? You go through history. Okay. How, like what movement's going to hurt you, go through those tests, and then they'll start to treat in those areas or supporting muscle groups. Yeah. And then they'll have you stand up. Hey, how do you feel now? Yeah. Yeah. You know, okay, I'm better. Cool. Maybe I'm not. Then they'll try something else. We'll work through there. They spend about 30 minutes with you. Yeah. And then they'd walk you back down to my room and I'm the certified recovery specialist. Okay. And so they would write a prescription of like, hey, we want to lengthen these muscles. We want to shorten these muscles. We want to strengthen these muscles because they're dealing with this injury, these issues, these like restrictions. Yeah. And then I'd go from there.
So if you don't mind breaking that down for me, like with the specific piriformis, like the doctor's already cleared them to go to you. Like, do you mind walking down the steps of like what you would actually do?
Yeah. I mean, on the first visit,
let's go first visit, second visit, and then third visit. I'm down to hear all of that.
Yeah. I mean, first visit is going to be a lot of like myofascial release and like loosening those muscles or like those overactive muscles that have been kind of helping you compensate for your pain, right? So we're going to loosen them up with like lacrosse ball foam roller. We're going to do some like nice stretching. And getting your mobility back. Okay. And that's going to be our goal for that first visit. It's just calming it down. Usually you're coming in, it's an acute injury.
So it's inflamed and we're trying to relax.
We're not going to go over there and like throw you through loops and like make you sweat because you're probably not ready for that.
And do you give homework after that first day for them to do? And
100%.
What would that look like? Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm digging really deep into it.
That's good. I mean, because the first visit, you're probably going to be sore because I'm not going to lie to you, Rossi pushes like hard. So if you cannot tolerate pain, well, you know, find a coping mechanism there. But it'll get better. You know, I always say like deal with a little pain because the reward is so much better.
Well, I have a question then, because if I have a pretty high strain in my piriformis with that scenario I gave you, and then you're putting it through like deep and like aggressive, like stretching, rolling, all of that, couldn't you possibly like tear it at a certain point?
Well, it's different per person, right? Yeah. So like you can't say a one size fits all situation, right? Okay. So if it's like an aggressive tear, we're only going to stick in your pain-free range of motion, right? So when I'm thinking about like elongating overactive muscles or trying to help with those compensating muscles, I'm not going to sit there and pull out the ones that are like flared up. Yeah. You know, like and this is where I'm very passionate about my initial opinion about physical therapy. Yeah. Because I've heard so much, not to tie back to that, but I've heard so much from like my patients say like, they never asked if that exercise hurt me. Yeah. Or I was pushing through pain like for weeks. Like, or they didn't even know. They're like, oh, that always hurt me. Yeah. And I'm like, did anyone ask like, hey, does that motion hurt you when they were showing it to you? And they go, no, they just said you're doing it right. And I'm over here like, man, you are like literally making it all worse. Like you have to think, if your body's hurting you, it's sharp and shooting or straining pain and you're ignoring it and pushing through it because you think, oh, it's going to help me. Yeah. First of all, I'm not saying anything about you because you probably didn't know better. Yeah. Like, and that's not your job to know better. It's our job as a professional to educate you, to let you know, to take care of you, to walk you through this so you have someone you can trust that's going to get you better, you know? And so like, for these people, for one, they didn't know to tell you they were hurting. Yeah, they don't know the body the way we do. No. Or the way the techs and the physical therapists do. So it's your job to assess them and guide them in the right direction. 100%. And ask these cueing questions, these cueing questions that
will help you as a professional. And to dive it into just the training world, like sometimes this David Goggins mentality, and I love David Goggins, but this David Goggins mentality of like, push through everything, no matter what, like, don't be a pussy, like, you know.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah, exactly, which I do believe there's a place for that. I really do.
It's a different kind.
Yeah, but it's like, if you have just a tight or overactive muscle and you're pushing through it, eventually you might injure that area. Now, if you get lucky and go years without it, I'm gonna dive into this part.
Could be genetics.
Yeah. Or if you, like, let's say you go years of doing this a certain way, now you're going to teach others that you can just push past that. That's fine.
And what if their body's not built for that?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing that annoys me about these, like, push balls to the wall, like, go hard as possible. It's like, not everyone is built like that. Not everyone has like the mindset to push past that. And honestly, it's a little silly to push that to the point of like, you could possibly get injured and put yourself out of commission.
But yeah.
So,
and if you're not in tune with your body and you can't even define what like your pain feels like, like that's a big red flag, because if I can't even define what my pain feels like, then how the heck do I know I'm hurting myself? You know? And it's just, it's a lot of just so meh, you know?
And we're in the field of this, like, and we exercise often. So we understand that like a contraction that's burning in my quadricep is good.
That's the no pain, no gain. That's the lactic acid. That is like the hurts so good kind of thing, where it's like, I feel a burn and now I'm going to die probably because of that burn. But I'm not going to die because I'm immobile and I need a wheelchair after this.
See, but let me dive into a little bit more of where I was going with that is, the problem with the general population is they don't even understand the difference between that pain that we think is good and let's push past that to like, holy crap, what is that? That sucks. Like, I don't like that at all. And we've broken that barrier of like, that is actually micro tears in our muscle that is actually going to benefit growth. Whereas the general population, if they've never exercised, didn't play sports in high school and middle school, they're going to feel that pain and they're going to be like, that's not normal. That's uncomfortable.
And they don't like it.
Yeah. And they don't like it.
And then they stop working out. Because they're like, ew, I don't want to be sore.
So then on top of that, like, that's why I don't like these boot camp style of trainers where they like put you through pain and tell you to just deal with it and fight through it. Like, I get there's a place for that, but like some people don't know that. And I don't want to work with pansies either, like people who don't want to push hard, but it's like,
but do you come back?
And as a coach, are you willing to like pull back for a second to help this individual? And so full circle, that's why sometimes it's hard for me to want to do group training, because now it might motivate some people, and I get that. Like, I enjoy group training because the community is cool, but I think individuals who struggle with like mind muscle connection and understanding that pain, like, you probably need a good trainer. Anyone could become a trainer, and that's the problem. So,
well, and you don't want to leave someone hanging. Like, that's the part that sucks, because you're in this big class, or maybe it's not a big class. You could even have just 8 people in your room, right? But that one person gets neglected or doesn't get like the attention they need, or they've hurt themselves or whatever. You don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden you never see that person again. And like, they could have hurt themselves bad. Who knows? But I have no idea where your life went. And they could have left my studio or my gym, and then they sat on their couch for the next 6 months or whatever, got obese. Who knows what they went through, but they're lost now. And I lost that opportunity to help somebody, you know?
And that's where like they will go home and never want to dive into that realm again. And because they're struggling with just one step. Like,
that's a disconnect. You know, and how do you reel someone back in when there's a disconnect?
And then they're going to be nervous to work with any new trainers, and those new trainers might be the best trainers in the world, but they had a bad taste in their mouth from a first impression, basically.
That's PTSD. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not maybe like as serious, but
it's a version of it for sure.
But for real, like, we all have our ways. Like, I'm not going to return to a business because of the way their customer service was. Things like that.
I didn't go to Taco Bell for 7 years. I didn't go to Taco Bell for 7 years because I got food poisoning. Now, I love me a steak quesadilla from Taco Bell, but
I haven't gone to Taco Bell for 7 years just because it teared my tummy up.
Hey, man, it put me out of commission, dog. Like,
I guess I get the chills.
But yeah, so after Rosti, you went and got your massage therapy license, right? So, like, how has that been going? Like, do you enjoy massage therapy? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Especially with you being like having the background of a Rasti.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I know that I'm not into like the foo-foo thing.
What's the foo-foo thing?
The foo-foo thing is like the whole spa facade, right? Like lay on my table, derobe, and let you fall asleep. And I'm going to treat you from head to toe, both sides. Yeah. And it's going to be forever. And by the end of it, my body's dead. Your body feels great. You're going to go take a nap. And I'm going to go do this to like 7 more people.
Yeah.
So, you know, like realistically, longevity, that probably sucks. And that's just not something I want to do. Like, I feel like making more of a change is where, you know, this stuff comes, like the Erasti kind of stuff.
You've worked on me before, and the common person probably wouldn't like your massage, just being honest, because it's rough. You really break things down. Let's just say that, like, you break down a lot of myofascial knots and I don't know if I'm saying that right. Adhesions. Thank you. Yeah. She's the brains, guys.
No, you're smart. You're smart.
But no, but I've told you about the guy I used to work with. But yeah, he's put me in super uncomfortable positions and really helped me recover the body. So I was kind of used to that. And my mom's worked with you as well. And she wants that type of massage. Yeah. But there are a lot of people out there who don't like that type of pain. So how would you work with someone who doesn't want to deal with that type of pain? Yeah. Like from Erasti work to massage therapy, recovery, all of that. How would you talk to someone about that?
Yeah. I think it's all, again, in the delivery, right? So being cautious of like what information I'm telling you. And I'm always like client focused, like patient focused. So I'm always going to listen to you. And there's methods to like make this work. Yeah. I've comforted people in saying like, I can get to that pressure and you not even notice it. But can you give me a moment to just kind of like get you used to this, accustomed to it? And I'm going to walk with you at the pace that you need to walk, and we're going to get you better. Yeah. And you comfortably sharing that knowledge, that like confidence, that reassurance, and that person most likely will trust you to help them, because at this point they're desperate. At this point they've tried everything. Nothing's working. So at this point, you're telling me with this utmost like assurance, integrity, trust that you can really help me, and you're going to literally walk through what I need.
It's a lot of trust with you, like basically putting people in compromising positions, basically. Yeah, you know?
But I'm reassuring, like, I'm here for you. This is your time. This is your money. This is your body. Like, I'm not here to do what I think. Like, I'm not in your body. I don't know what you're feeling, you know, but I'm going to do my best to help you and listen to you.
See, but it's rough though, because some people are like, it's like a mental block, like the immediate barrier. It's like, don't touch me. Yeah. But it's like, I want to be better. It's
but like, there's methods for that, not to interrupt you, but like, so they talked about it in like licensed massage therapy school, that you'll run into people like, say for instance, like sexual abuse or domestic violence people, you know, actually they benefit probably like the most from the healing touch of massage, because it's something that they actually might need more of, but they got it in the wrong way. Yeah, yeah. And so you're trying to almost reintroduce it to them in a way that is like protective or like reassuring, right? And so a lot of that, the methods they tell you is like, I'm going to grab that patient's hand and put it on their own body. And then I'd put my hand on top of their hand and say like, you feel where I'm placing your hand? Like, that's where I'm going to work today. How do you feel about this pressure? Is that okay? Okay. And then, you know, I'm going to move your hand and I'm going to just ease into right where I showed you. And they respond so well. Like, there's methods to ease someone into something like that.
That's a lot of trust too. That's a lot of trust.
It is. Yeah. But you have to think about educating. Educating. This is your life. You have one life. You have one body. You have like one walk. How do you want to live your life? Yeah. Do you want to keep suffering? Like, you're here for a reason. You've tried this. You reached out because you were interested. Yeah. And so you're already at the point where you've made a choice. Yeah, yeah. Now it's the commitment. Like, am I going to commit to this choice? And how are you educating? I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to give you my best information. I'm going to give it all to you. And then you do with it what you'd like. More often than not, they choose to get the help.
See, and that's where, if I'm going to be honest, that's where I struggle as a coach sometimes, because it's like, you came to me, you made the step to come and figure out this part, right? Yeah. But now I'm giving you all the tools that you need, and you're not executing on that. And this is where I have to let go sometimes, because I give you everything you need. and you don't use it. So it bothers me that person does that, but I need to let that go because I'm doing everything that I can. But it's like, I care so much about every person that walks through that door that I don't want you walking out that door without the service I can provide for you and the results I can give you.
Yeah.
But it's a struggle sometimes. I have to be patient. It's so weird, man. I'm not patient in anything in life. I'm learning. Yeah. But in training, I'm very patient. And so this isn't someone coming in for 2 weeks and then I give them all the tools and then I get mad because they're not using it, right? It's like after 8-9 months, like, you've been with me, you're a product of my business now. And if you don't have any results, then something's going on. Yeah. And your body, without verbally telling people, is my business, basically. You know? So that's a tough realm too. Now, if I'm helping you mentally, like, I definitely try to take those wins for sure as a coach. Like, if I'm helping you get through the day, if I'm helping you just relieve stress, like, I'll take that. But sometimes it's hard. Like, clients who are quiet, clients who don't speak, like clients who don't express how they feel, like they're just coming in and leaving. And deep down, that's probably helping them a lot, that they're getting to release their stress, release their anger, release anxiety just through working out and communicating with someone. And think about it like this. As a personal trainer, most people don't get one-on-one time with other people very often. Even their own significant others, they don't get a full hour straight, especially if you have kids, family, business, work, all of that. Like, so when someone comes to a personal trainer or someone comes to a massage therapist or an neurosty practitioner, they don't get that hour where they get all the attention. So I joke about it all the time, but it's serious. Like, I'm a therapist as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I am here to hear you out. And shout out to all my clients, because I definitely ramble all of my life problems to them. So, but no, it's we're experts in more than just like fitness and wellness. So being able to help others, and again, circling back, I need to let go of, like, if they don't take the tools I give them, because there's probably a lot more that I'm helping with. It is just tough though. It is tough.
But I can relate to you in that, because being at Erosti, being a certified recovery specialist, I wasn't a personal trainer, but I was educating exercises. Yeah. And so I was creating a home program for these patients, sending them home with it. Yeah. They'd come back in. I'm like, how are your exercises going? And they'd be like, I didn't do anything. Yeah. And I'm like, cool. Well, here's the thing. And they would look at me with like this face of like, oh, don't be mad. I didn't do anything. And I'm over here like, dude, I get paid regardless to be here. And I want you to know that right now. I'm here by choice because I want to help people. I'm getting paid. What you do in your private life won't affect me when I leave here today, right? But I'm giving my best to help you, and you can do with that what you want. Yeah. But at the end of the day, your recovery is up to you. Yeah, and you know,
ways that I think about it is like things that help me with my clients is, yes, they might not have done the homework, but they show up every single week. Yeah. So even if they don't do the homework I give them in a 52-week schedule, they're showing up 40 of those weeks. That's actually an improvement.
Maybe they're trying to talk themselves into it. You know, like sometimes you got to think like what did they say? Like repetitiveness, like builds a habit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just go with the motions, like maybe it'll start to come to fruition. Yeah.
I've talked about it on this show before that like consistency isn't just always at this high level. It's like, it's going to be low some days. It's going to be high some days. But as long as the bar is moving, like, you know, it's the trajectory of like going up.
I love that image where they say like the growth, right? Or like that whole margin where it's like growth is like the heart rate monitor or something like on that. I'm like, dude. But like if you zoom out,
it's not linear.
It's like if you zoom out, it is getting better. But there's up and downs. Like hills and valleys, man. That's life.
But then when you look back 10 years ago, it's like, man, I was way down there. But now, even though I feel like I'm in the low right now, I'm still higher than I was.
I'm in the low at my next level, but not in the lowest I've ever been. Yeah. You know, and I'm gonna go to the next level, and there might be a low of that level, right? But then I'm gonna go to that next level. You know.
Speaking of lows and highs, so I want you to tell people about how your fitness journey has been these last like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you've really been crushing it. You got out of a low. Now you're at a really good place. So
yeah.
like, how's your like gym rat journey been going?
You know what? It's entertaining. I'll put it that way. Cause it's always a surprise or different, and you're constantly learning, you know? So for me, I'm thankful that I've been going consistent every week. And I say I'm thankful because like half of those days I don't want to go. Like, I'm just so like annoyed by it. Like, I'm dressed, but I have no energy. And then I'm like, just take the pre-workout. You'll be good. Just take the pre-workout. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, you'll be good. And I take the pre-workout, and then I'm like, I could do that. You just get in the car. All you got to do is get in the car. And then sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah.
And then I get in the car and I start driving, and I'm in the gym parking lot. I'm sitting in the car like, and then I get out and I go in. Yeah. And it's like, you get on, I do my warm up, and by the end of my warm up, I am like in the zone. I'm excited. Like, all of a sudden I am like pumped.
Blood flow's going, pre-workout's hitting.
Where am I going? Where in the gym do I want to start? You know? Yeah. And I'm like in the zone. And then I'm there for like I said, at least 90 minutes. Yeah. And I'm pumping. And so it's great. And it's been like consistent 5 to 6 days a week. Yeah,
I see it. Like, not even like you going every day. I see it in your actual transformation. Like, you look great. Like, I'm proud of you for real.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been good.
You've been doing good.
I've literally so my journey's been like all over the you know, the hills. So you asked me like, how has it been? Right. And like, I would say my journey has been like my whole life. Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know how you say like a fitness journey just started like 3 months ago. Right. Because there's always highs and lows. Like, I've had abs. Like, I have been like confident as heck in college, right? I used to work out twice a day. Yeah. So there's been some highs, there's been some lows. I've been overweight. Yeah. And you know, I've had some rolls and fluff, and I'm like, ew, I don't even want to look at myself right now, you know? Yep. So it'd be like that. But the past 3 months, all I told myself was like, hey, the mindset honestly did shift, because you think about like my fitness journey, like my whole life, it's been more so like, I just want this body image. Yeah. Like, I just want to look like this. And that was my goal, is just to look like that person. And that's all I thought every time I'm trying to get into this fitness journey, is I need to look like that person. I need to look like that person. I need to look like that person. And then you burn out because you're like, I'm never going to look like that person, because our bodies are different. And I see myself differently. Maybe I'm my hardest critic. Maybe I do look like that person, but I still don't think I look like that person. You know what I'm saying? I actually really relate to everything you're saying right now. Yeah. And then it's like, but you just go, because now, I don't know. And then now at this point, I don't have that kind of like mindset anymore. Yeah. Like, I want to look like that person, but I'm also like, I don't know what that person looks like. Yeah. But there's also this like line that like, yes, you've let go of looking like a certain individual or a certain body type, right? Yeah. But then it's like the pressure, and maybe this is just me, but the pressure that I feel is like, I'm about to own a gym soon. I have to, at least my biceps need to be looking a certain way in a shirt. Yeah, and I have to look a certain way in a shirt, and sometimes that's a lot of pressure for me. Yeah. But in reality, it's like, man, my brain knows all. But I get it though. Like, I have to look a certain way. So there's a balance, and it's hard to find. Yeah, it's true though, because there's like a level of respect, or like a level of like, how well am I going to receive you based on, because I mean, honestly, let's go instinctually. I'm going to look at someone who maybe be out of shape, and you're a trainer in the gym, and I'm going to be like, how? Yeah. And respectfully, I'm just going to be like, how? Because I want to, like, my goal is to look like so-and-so, and how are you going to help me look like that person? So I say this to every single person I have a conversation with about, they went to go see their doctor. My first question is your doctor in shape? I know it's so biased, because they know, like, they actually probably know the information, but I am not going to take health advice from someone not taking care of themselves. Yeah. I am not going to take health advice from someone not taking care of themselves. But that's like, even in everyday life, like even in relationships, like I'm not going to put myself around people that aren't doing what I want to do. You know, it's same scenario. And I will say, it's never an age thing. Like, I just worked out with one of my student supervisors from work, and he's 21. And when I went to go work out with him, like, he taught me something. Yeah. So I can't sit there and say I can't learn from someone else. But again, would I have worked out with him if he was out of shape and overweight?
probably not. Like, it might sound like fat shaming, but at the end of the day, we're health coaches. Like, we are people in the realm of helping others get healthy.
Yeah.
So how can I be out of shape, or how can I not practice what I preach? So
yeah, it's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
But yeah,
good.
the last 3 months though.
Yeah. So I mean, like, but my mindset, I think, shifted as far as like, I just wanted to like feel good, to be able to keep up, like to be able to.
Is any of it, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but is any of it because we're about to open up a business too? Like, does that come into play at all?
100%. Yeah, because here's the thing, and let's be real, being a woman, and you look at yourself in the mirror and there's like an expectation of what women should like physically look like, right? Yeah. Like, we are supposed to have a flat stomach and like a nice butt, and you know, our thighs maybe shouldn't touch in the middle, or you know, and you should like not be too bulky on top or whatever, like all these things, right? And so for me, it was like, I just want to like look healthy, like have it like I don't even know.
Well, first of all, it's for you.
Yeah.
Second, like, you have a little bit of good pressure, like behind it all, but like you feel better, your energy's better. Like, I can just see a little bit difference from your confidence now to 3 months ago. Yeah. Like, and you're always oozing confidence, just being honest, but I can see the difference.
Oh,
and
thanks.
Yeah, no, for real though. Like, and I don't care what anybody says, like, going to the gym just a little bit, like, you feel better, and just not even confidence, just blood flow. Like, your body isn't made to be sedentary. Like, you need to move around. Now, maybe for me and you, like, we're ADD, so like, I need to move a lot more. But in reality, it's like, man, I just feel better when I move. What were you about to say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I think like in middle, like 30 minutes to like an hour of your workout, like seeing even the bloat go down. Oh yeah. And like looking at yourself and being like, it just like came off, like what the bloat's gone, the pump's there, like, and then you're like, wow, like the results are just so rewarding. Yeah. And not to be like consumed in that, because like, I think, and that's the hard, that's like my kryptonite. I'll tell you, like, to be fair, for these past 3 months, like my biggest judgment on my improvement is if I stand sideways and look at my stomach. Yeah. And I'm like, how far is that stomach sticking out? And it's like, that was like my biggest track of like, or my biggest motivation. I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, nope, got to go back to the gym. I want that a little bit. I'm gonna be honest,
Caitlyn, there's a little bit of like that you have to play in the realm of being a little bit of a psycho. Like, I'm just being honest. It sounds terrible. Like, oh, you know, what do you do with your free time? I go to the gym, but it's like there's a little line of being a little bit psychotic about these results, about the journey for fitness. Because if you're just kind of gonna do it average, you're going to look average, you know, and I look average. I'm not going to say I'm a bodybuilder that steps on stage, like, but I'm breaking these barriers. Like, I'm breaking this plateau, and it's because I'm like 5-6 weeks in on like really dialing in. Yeah. And look what I just said though, 5 to 6 weeks. This didn't like
3 months.
Yeah, exactly. When I have hopefully in June, when I have my before and after pictures to advertise, like, I'm going to be able to be so confident that I can show those older pictures, but then also tell people, look, this took 20 weeks.
Yeah, dude.
You know, like, this took 25 weeks. Like, you think it's going to happen like that? It didn't take you 90 days. I always say this. Yeah. It didn't take you 90 days to get out of shape. It's not going to take you 90 days to get in shape.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It took me 90 days to lose 15 pounds. Yeah. But listen to this. I still need to lose 15 more pounds. Like, we're only halfway there on my goal weight. My goal weight has maybe even nothing to do with my goal physique though, you know, and how long will that even take? And so I had to literally tell myself, like, chill out. Yeah. Like, you're going over here racing for results, but you want these results that are taking people 2 to 3 years to get. Yeah. And I'm over here like, okay, if it took them 2 to 3 years and they got it, it's possible. Yeah. So then I told myself, it's going to take you 2 to 3 years to get those results, but it's possible. So just go 5-6 days a week, and 5 to 6 days a week until you get there. And it's cliche to say, but it's like Kobe said it, like, enjoy the journey. And it's easier said than done for sure, because that journey has a lot of ups and downs. But if you enjoy the journey, like, that end result will come. But you have to learn to love this so you don't stress the end result, you know? And I'm still learning how to do that right now. Yeah. Like, in every aspect of my life, from work to relationships. Like, I'm enjoying the journey of relationships as much as I'm enjoying the journey of exercising. Yeah.